Thank you for joining the webinar, SmartList Basics. Are you using them? Today, we are going to go over the following. What is a SmartList and why you should be using them? I will also show you some basic tips and tricks for while you are using SmartList. And then finally, how to create a SmartList favorite and go over any questions you may have at the end of the webinar. My name is Jess Moan, and I will be your presenter today. I recently joined the consulting team here at Implementation Specialists. I was previously a front-end user of Dynamics GP for over 8 years. So, what is SmartList? SmartList is a great out-of-the-box tool right inside of Dynamics GP that allows you to extract your data in real time. SmartList reports are customizable so that you can get the information that you need. SmartList also allows you to filter the data right inside of GP. These tools can be helpful when you are researching or need to find information quickly. Why should you be using SmartList? There are several reasons, but here are a few good reasons. SmartList quickly retrieve your data into a report. The data you are retrieving is in real time. You can also customize the data you want to display and what you want to see within the report inside of Dynamics GP itself. Once you have the information you need, you can also easily export your data into an Excel file. There are several great features right inside of SmartList. Here are some of the basic features that you will see today in this webinar. Editing columns. SmartList gives you access to add or delete the columns in the report you are working with. You can move those columns up or down in the list to place them where you want them to be in the report. Another great feature is you can edit the display name. If you would like the column header to say something different, you can go ahead and change it. SmartList also gives you the ability to filter the data you want to see. You can search by several column names, even if they are not visible on the report you are creating. You also have the option to search by using the AND function so that all filters must match to show the data. Or you can search by the OR function, meaning only one filter needs to meet the criteria of your search in your report. If you have a lot of data in your SmartList report, it defaults the number of rows to return to 1000. You can go ahead and change this in the search tab to include the max by putting in several nines, and it will return the max number of records that SmartList allows. The go-to function can be nice if something needs to be edited. You can double-click on a line to take you directly to the information, such as a vendor or customer card. There is also a go-to button on the top that will give you a few more options of where you can go. Once your report has been generated the way you want it, you can send the report directly into Excel. Once in Excel, you can do any formulas, charts, tables, pivot tables, graphs that you need to with the data you are extracting. If this is a report you had to modify and you're going to need it again in the future, you can save it as a SmartList favorite. All of your changes and edits you have made to the report will save as well in that list. Now that we have gone over a few of the basics, let's go check them out in Dynamics GP so you can see how it all works. So you can access SmartList by going to the Microsoft Dynamics GP dropdown and to SmartList. So let's take a look at a customer balance list with balances past due of 181 days or more. We can go down to our sales and to our customers, and we'll see that there are canned reports here that we can use and go to this customer balance. We can look at this list and see we may need some additional information. We want to be able to see customers that have an overdue balance and maybe when their last payment was made. So we can go to the columns icon at the top and we can add in additional columns here. So we want to see the aging buckets, and we can select that by clicking the top one and holding your shift key down and selecting the bottom. And then we also wanted to see the last payment date. So we'll scroll down and find last payment date, and we can hit the control key and click on last payment date. Click OK, and now we'll see them added to our list. Now, as you notice, the aging buckets are not in order. So to get them in order, you can check mark the boxes in front, and you can move those up or down. So we want to move those down to put the aging buckets in order. We can then hit OK. So you'll notice that the aging, however, we want to just focus on our customers that have a balance in this 181 days and over. So to do so, we can go up to our search and we can put in the 181 and over, and we want to do is greater than 0 to return any dollar amounts that are greater than 0 in just that bucket. So we can hit OK, and now we'll notice that all of our amounts in the 181 and over will be over the $0. You can scroll down and look at this. We'll notice that this customer here has a customer balance of 0, but they do have an amount in their bucket for 181 and over. If you double click on this line, it will take you to the customer maintenance window, which probably isn't going to help us in this situation. So we can close that, click on it, and there is a go to button at the top ribbon here. If you click on that, you'll see that you have additional views you can look at. So we'll want to look at that customer transaction inquiry just to see why they don't have a balance, but they do in the 181 and over bucket. So we can click on that, and we'll notice that it looks like there's a credit memo that's open that hasn't been applied to the invoice here, which is the reason that it is giving you a 0 balance and a credit there. We can hit OK here, and it'll keep you on your smart list, but we don't necessarily want this line here. So what you can do is go up to your search, and we'll want to search on that customer balance. And we don't want that. We'll do is not equal to 0. And then we also wanted that last payment date in there. So we wouldn't want to see anything, any current payments. So let's search by our last payment date. And we'll want to do is less than, and let's just choose May 1st so we don't see any payments from in May or June. You'll also notice that the maximum records down here is at 1,000. We only have 90 customers, but if you wanted to change that, if that had maxed out at 1,000, you could enter your 9 here and tab out, and you would get that max records that SmartList can retrieve. Your search type. This section is where you're going to find where your AND function or your OR function. So currently, it defaults to match all, which means to use the AND function, but you can switch it to match one or more, meaning it would just need to match one of your search criteria in order to return the data. So we want to match all, though, in this situation. So we'll leave it at match all, and we can hit OK. Okay, so now we're seeing only customers with a balance in the 181 and over bucket and who have not made a payment since May 1st. Right in GP, we can sort the list by, let's say, the payment date. And by doing so, we will see that these top customers have not made a payment at all on their account. So those customers we may want to focus on contacting, seeing if we can get a payment on their account to get those balances paid down. When looking at this, you could also send this to Excel by going up to the top and clicking Excel. And this is going to push all this information right into an Excel file for you. And then at this point, you could do any formulas you needed to with it, graphs, sorting, anything that you would need to do inside of Excel for your data. You'll also notice at the top here, there's a letter merge, which can be very handy in certain situations. Since we're looking at data that is 181 days and over, we could click on this and maybe we're looking at creating a collection letter. You could select that and you're going to get another screen, and this might be, you know, a final notice at that point of being that far out. So you could click on final notice and next, and this is going to give you all the customers that are in your SmartList report right now. So you could decide to give everybody this letter, or you can come in here and mark which customers you want to send a letter to. I'm just going to do one for now so that the report runs at a decent speed. So hit next. This page window is going to be your information that you want it coming from. So it'd be your name and your title and your phone number and email, which will be at the bottom of the letter. We can hit finish, and it's going to create that letter for us. So as you can see, I'm in the Fabricam company. Your company information would be at the top here. It enters in the date for you and the customer information. It will create the letter for you and list out the invoices that are past due and when they were due and the amount of each invoice. And then at the bottom, you'll see your information. You can print this and send it directly then to the customer. So a quick little way to get the data out of the system. So this SmartList may be a report you would want to use every month to see who is in that past due status and when you want to write those letters or whatever you may be doing with the information. You can save this report by going up to the favorites icon And we'll want to rename this because currently this is the canned report that we were working with, and we don't want to save over the information that's there. So we could name this customers past due, maybe without current payment. The visible to section here, when it's at the system, what that's going to mean is this report will be visible to the entire system. So if you have multiple companies that may need this report, you might want to keep it as system, as this report should cross over to your other systems or your other companies. If you choose company, it's only going to be visible for the company that you are currently working in. User class is based on your security settings, so anybody in the same user class as you are would have access to this report, and user ID would be, you would be the only one to have access to the report. No one else would be able to utilize it. We'll leave it as system. There's a spot here where you can enter in a password. This password can be handy if you're going to leave it as system and multiple people might come in here and use this report, and you don't want them to make any changes to this report. They would have to save their own favorite in order to save it. You might want to put a password on there so that people can't modify it and save over or remove your report. So we're going to add this to our favorite. You can add it as a favorite, or you can add it as a favorite and a reminder in GP. So we'll add as a favorite. Your information will come back here. And if you go into your reports, you're going to notice that that report is now in the list that you have created. So we can get out of that report and go back into the report, and you'll see all the data is still there. Your search column is all saved. And so if this is a report we'd want to use monthly, maybe we don't want it to have a specific date so that when we run it, it's the most current information. We can change this value, and maybe we want to say prior month, that it was less than the prior month. Instead of using that May 1st date, we can go in and save that and hit OK, which is going to update your information depending on the date that you're using. You can go back into your favorites, and instead of adding a new report, you can hit modify. And what that's going to do is it's going to update that save so that this search definition 3 saves to that prior month instead of that date entered into there. Now, sometimes we can get a little carried away and create a bunch of different reports we want to use, and maybe we end up creating a new report that works better than this report, and all of a sudden we have a bunch of different reports sitting in here that we don't use, which can slow down the system a little bit. So you can go back into the report, and you can go into your favorites, and you can actually remove that report. And by removing it, it will remove it from the list. Now you'll want to make sure nobody else is using that report anymore. You don't want to delete it and other people have been utilizing it and still utilize it. So just make sure you keep that in mind if you have that as a system. But if it was just to your user ID, then you should be okay to remove it without, talking to anybody else about that. So that concludes the demo on the SmartList basics. You should now know what a SmartList is and why you should be using them today with these basic features, tips, and tricks right inside of Dynamics GP. Are there any questions that anyone has at the moment on SmartLists?
I don't see any questions in the question list, Jess.
Okay, we can keep going. So if there are no questions on SmartLists basics, just remember you can always contact our support desk by emailing support@iscorp.biz with any questions you may have with Microsoft Dynamics GP questions, and a consultant will be happy to help assist you with those questions, even you know, if it's just on the SmartList or any other questions you may have within the system. Also, just a little reminder to make sure to get signed up for GPUC 24 this year at the Microsoft campus in Fargo, North Dakota, November 18th through the 22nd. This event is always a fun time learning about BC and GP. We do offer daily passes and corporate passes on the implementation website, so definitely make sure to go out and check that out. I believe the schedule should be going up shortly. Make sure to check out our upcoming webinars as well. PopDoc for Dynamics GP on June 20th at 2 p.m. Central Time. New tools for Winsoft users is June 25th at 2 p.m. Central Time. And then don't forget about Geeks on the Green, Customer Appreciation 2024 event, which will be September 9th. Always a fun time getting together with everybody and enjoying some golf and everything. So thank you for attending SmartList Basics. Are you using them today? We would love to help you with any of your SmartList questions, whether it's creating a new SmartList or modifying a pre-existing one even. Make sure to reach out to us here at Implementation Specialists if you need any other help or assistance with that. So this will conclude the webinar. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.